Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Joe Flash, and welcome back to another voice comparison reaction video. We're here at it again, continuing where we left off with more Spider-Man character voice comparison reactions. In the last video, we did Harry Osborn slash the Green Goblin, or technically I retitled it to just Harry Osborn because, you know, I'm going to do a separate video in the future where I cover Green Goblin the character, not like whoever it is, because for the Green Goblin character, it doesn't matter who it is, Norman Osborn or Harry Osborn, you know what I'm saying? So, since there are, like, I'm going to do a separate video of me just checking out voice comparisons for the Green Goblin character, period, I decided to rename the last video I did. Like, I had it titled originally Harry Osborn slash Green Goblin, but I've decided because one of the two Behemoth 89 Harry Osborn voice comparisons that I reacted to, the last one I checked out was titled Green Goblin slash Harry Osborn, but I retitled it to Harry Osborn because we were really just covering Harry Osborn the character and not him as the Green Goblin. And neither will we be doing the same thing for this man either, as for the next video, we're going to be checking out Norman Osborn. If we're going to do Harry Osborn, then we got to do his father Norman Osborn too, right? Obviously, Norman is the father of Harry. He's the original Green Goblin. He owns the place called Oscorp, and, you know, the story goes he's the original Green Goblin. Sometimes he dies in some of the Spider-Man universes, and Harry Osborn becomes the next Green Goblin to avenge his father's death, as we saw in the case of some certain times, you know, like where Harry wants Spider-Man dead, and even other times he ends up discovering Peter, his best friend, is Spider-Man and wants him even dead even more and stuff, you know, like the friendship drives apart. We know how the same story goes. It's usually how it goes, but there's other times before. Like, I even remember I discovered one time that apparently there was this new Goblin that was coming around. Like, it's usually in the comics. They have yet to put him in the animated series or anything, but it's the Red Goblin. So there's been quite a few different Goblins. There's Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, Gray Goblin. Are there any other Goblins? Can't remember. Is there any other Goblins? I don't remember. I think there might be a few other Goblins. I'm not sure. I just only remember Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, Gray Goblin, Red Goblin. There might be a few others. I'm not sure. I really actually do not have a clue. I don't know if some people say the Jackal. No, Jackal's not really a Goblin, isn't he? No. I don't think so. I don't know. But those are just the only Goblins I could think of. I think that's really all as far as I'm concerned, just to let you know. But, yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it, you know? So, there's an alternate universe in one Spider-Man. I think it was in a comic or something, but basically Norman Osborn returns, and he becomes the Red Goblin, where basically he bonds with the Carnage symbiote, and he becomes the Red Goblin. They even made an action figure of him at one time, and it kind of interests me. Hopefully, maybe one day when they make a Spider-Man animated series or live-action series, anything, hopefully they'll capitalize on that, because I really would love to see that, you know, for the fact that, you know, people believed that thought Norman Osborn was dead, but then he comes back to life, or somehow he never dies and he's alive, and he's now bonded with the Carnage symbiote, and now he becomes the Red Goblin. Like, it really interests me, so hopefully maybe they'll capitalize on doing that one day. I think it would really get fans talking, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, we're just covering Norman Osborn, so not him as the Green Goblin, just him as Norman Osborn. Like I said, I will do a video in the future whenever I do check out more Spider-Man voice comparison character videos. I will do some of the villains. You know, as I said, when we start checking out Spider-Man villains, I will do Green Goblin, the character, the villain. So I'm just doing Norman Osborn because, like I said, when it comes to the Green Goblin character and who does the voice for him, it doesn't really matter at that point on if it's Harry Osborn or Norman Osborn because it's just the character's voice, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter. That's why I decided in my last video, when I originally titled the video Harry Osborn slash Green Goblin voice comparison reaction, I decided to rename it to just Harry Osborn because we were really just technically looking at Harry Osborn himself, not as the Green Goblin. So the same thing is going to go here. We're just looking at Norman Osborn as himself, not as the Green Goblin. There is a Behemoth 89 does have a Green Goblin voice comparison video, and so does Generation West. So in the near future, when we do check out Green Goblin voice comparison, I will be checking out both of those videos in. But for now, we're just only going to be covering both men that have portrayed the Green Goblin character as just themselves. Because Norman's another character, another important character in Spider-Man. Because like I said, he's the original Green Goblin. And we all know how the story goes about him becoming the Green Goblin and all that kind of stuff. He's another important character. Like, he's an OG villain character, you know what I mean? Like, him as the Green Goblin is an OG. Like, come on. And if I was to pick 3 favorite villains, I would have to choose between him as the Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, and Venom. Those are probably my 3 personal favorites. But we're not here to talk about villains. We're just here to talk about Norman Osborn. So I don't really have much else left to say other than what I just said about Norman. He's a pretty interesting character on just how he just goes from just trying to keep his company Oscorp alive while also becoming the Green Goblin, and how he pretends like him and Goblin are two different people. Like, he's talking to himself, like he's talking to himself as Norman, and the other time he's talking to himself as the Goblin. It's kind of a weird way of how it goes back and forth, but, it's still an interesting period, I mean, I still prefer Norman Osborn's Green Goblin over Harry Osborn. I mean, Harry Osborn's Green Goblin's okay too, but obviously everybody prefers Norman. I mean, he's the original, so come on. Like, how can you not go wrong with the original Goblin himself? So there's not really much else left to be said. I'm sure this will be a good one. It's about short video as well. It's only 3 minutes and 46 seconds, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Not going to waste any more time at all. I got nothing more to say. Let's just see what happens in this one, or let's see who's going to be involved in this one. I can imagine I'm probably going to be seeing some recognizable faces up here. I don't know if there'll be anybody else that maybe I might recognize. We'll see. We'll find out who's going to be in this video. So let's go ahead and start checking it out, shall we? This should be a good one. I always have fun checking these out. So let's see who we got up here and who are going to be my picks for Norman Osborn. As always, thumbs down if I love it or really like it. Maybes for if I'm not really too sure, and then thumbs down if I do not like it. So, same old goes. And then at the end of the video, I'll be ranking down my personal favorites. Maybe even honorable mentions, who knows, because I did that in the Mary Jane voice comparison reaction video where I even gave some honorable mentions. But, never mind, let's get started. So like John Cena and Triple H always say, your time is up, my time is now, it's time to play the game. So let's go ahead and get right into it, shall we? Norman Osborn, voice comparison in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Turn it up loud enough so you guys can hear. Luckily, the good thing with Behemoth 89's voice comparison videos is that his are a bit louder than Generation West's, I think. Because I think I do remember when I've been checking out, like, whenever I did previous voice comparison videos, when I checked out both Generation West and Behemoth 89's respective voice comparison to a certain character I was checking out, I think I do remember Behemoth 89's was always louder, but it doesn't matter.
I'm sorry I made you fly in this weather, but I had to leave.
Oh, Neil Ross, huh? That's cool. I didn't know he did Norman back then. That's pretty cool. Of course, he didn't provide the voice for Norman Osborn in the Spider-Man animated series in 1994, but he does provide Green Goblin's voice. So that's how I recognize him. He's obviously the Green Goblin in the 1994 animated Spider-Man series, which is a classic series. But apparently, he did Norman way before then. Like I said, he wasn't the man who did Norman's voice in Spider-Man, the animated series 1994, I don't think, but still, that's pretty cool. He got to originally be Norman for this show, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Before then, he got to be recalled back to this time his alternate persona, Green Goblin. Pretty cool.
We'll make it, Mr. Osborn. They let me out.
Not gonna lie, just looking at Neil Ross, if he was to lose the mustache, maybe he would look like a Norman Osborn himself. He looked like he'd be a Norman Osborn if he didn't have the mustache. But anyway, let me go back.
I'm cured. I can be Norman Osborn again. Not that other creature.
Yeah, I gotta listen.
I had to leave the sanitarium immediately. We'll make it, Mr. Osborn. They let me out. I'm cured. I can be Norman Osborn again.
Okay, sure. Like I said, his Green Goblin voice is better, but I'll give it to him as Norman Osborn.
The board can't fire me.
Take a pause. Come on, heck yeah. Like, come on, bro. What are we even talking about here? Like, this is not even a question. Like, come on. Like, there's nothing more to be said. Like, what are we talking about? This is Norman Osborn. This is the Green Goblin. Come on. William Dafoe, man. Ever since day one, he was casted as Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, in Spider-Man 1 from 2002 with Tobey Maguire. He's been the Green Goblin, and he's been Norman Osborn ever since. Like, fans always still continue to remember him as that character. Of course, he's had a few other roles in the years following, but this will always be his most defining character as Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin, or even both, whatever you want to call it. Like, literally, this guy has just been on a roll ever since. He defined the role. And out of the cast between all the Tobey Maguire 3 Spider-Man films, him and Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus are two of the best villains when it comes down to it. Heck, even when William Dafoe came back in Spider-Man No Way Home in 2021 as Green Goblin / Norman Osborn, he still did just as good as he did back then. He's like the lead villain, honestly, in my opinion. Like, he really was like the best villain in the Spider-Man saga. Like I said, it was between him and Alfred Molina, Dr. Octopus, that were the two best villains in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movies. and he was still just as good as even when he came back in 2021 for Spider-Man No Way Home, which was a fantastic film. I even have a poster hanging up in my room where Green Goblin's even in the poster. Like, it's got the main picture from, like, the DVD cover with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, but the Green Goblin's in it from the back, so that's pretty cool. Literally, this is him, man. Like, this is the Norman Osborn. This is the Green Goblin. Willem Dafoe is just that guy, man. Like, there's really nothing more to be explained. His performance will never get old. Like I said, even when he came back at Spider-Man No Way Home, he was just as good. I mean, out of all of the villains that came back in Spider-Man No Way Home, he was probably the best one. No, he was the best one. His new look was kind of cool too. I mean, I still prefer the original suit look, but when he got that new look, when he ditched his helmet and stuff, it wasn't actually a bad new look for him. I mean, it was kind of cool that he got something new in the end at the end of the movie, so that was pretty cool. And like I said, he was just as good as he did then. Plus, he's kind of the reason why Aunt May is unfortunately no longer in the MCU now. Don't forget, he was the one that unfortunately took Tom Holland's Aunt May, so you can't forget about that. So if you ever think about how she died, you gotta at least remember that it was William Dafoe's Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, that killed him. So pretty much, he just created a different, I guess, timeline, or like a future timeline where now Tom Holland's Peter Parker's now going to have to live life without his aunt, which is something that's going to be in the next Spider-Man film whenever that comes out for Tom Holland in the future. It has been reported that Tom Holland's next Spider-Man film isn't going to start being filmed till like late 2024, so it looks like we're going to have a long way to go before we may expect that movie to come out, but I'll be ready for it either way. Sure, really will look forward to that film. I mean, Tom Holland, he's like my favorite Spider-Man right now. Tobey Maguire is still the original, still the best, but, I've really been currently loving Tom Holland's performance. And as I said, seeing Willem Dafoe come back as Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, and Spider-Man No Way Home was just great, man. In ways, he was kind of like the main villain, since he was kind of the one that was really like the most unstoppable one. I mean, all the villains were like some of the main villains, but he was like the biggest one, in my opinion, since he's the one who took Aunt May. He was the one that tricked Peter. He manipulated the other villains as well, kind of. And he was like the final boss, sort of, after when all the other villains were cured. He was like the final boss, and, he almost made Tom Holland lose his MJ, Michelle Jones, from that falling scene. So, he's important, you know what I mean? He's an important character. I mean, Green Goblin is always an important character. He's like a classic, man. He's always a classic and original villain, no matter what Spider-Man it is. And with Willem Dafoe, you just can't go wrong with him. So, come on, double thumbs up. Obviously, the only Green Goblin... Well, actually, no, he's not the only live-action Green Goblin. There is also that Green Goblin from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but that was Harry Osborn, which we just covered in the last video. But that was Harry Osborn that was Green Goblin. But in terms of Norman Osborn's Green Goblin, or both of them, Willem Dafoe's the only one, and he's obviously the best. I mean, even if they do decide to bring Norman Osborn, another live-action Norman Osborn in the future, still, in the end, no one's going to do it better than him. I mean... He is Norman Osborn. He is the Green Goblin, whatever you want to say, or even both. So this is just not a question. You knew this was coming as well. I mean, you knew this was coming, Pete. Get it? If you know where that's from. But literally, you knew this was coming, so that's all I got left to say. Moving on.
This company, how dare they?
And it was good that he got to recast himself, like he got to reprise his role as Norman Osborn in the Spider-Man video game, as well as Green Goblin as well. He got to redo.
I didn't hear. Never mind that.
So this is great.
Proceeding with a human trial.
It's great to see he just got to reprise his role for the video game.
Dr. Strom,
Still just as good as he did in the movies, man. Never gets old. Willem Dafoe as Norman Osborn and Green Goblin never gets old.
A scientific anomaly. But what happens to someone whose physiology is conditioned to thrive when combined with Oz compound? What then?
I really like that voice, actually. Yeah. That's good. Kind of makes him sound like a very serious Norman Osborn. Like you can see he's starting to switch evil because, while there's times when Norman Osborn's a nice guy, there's other times he can be kind of a maniac. He's kind of like he starts to become like this filthy rich person. So that's pretty good right there for that part where it seems like he's starting to like have anger in his voice, like he's starting to turn evil. That's really good right there. Credit to Neil Kaplan for that. That's good voicing right there. I can't remember if that's a video game or not. I don't remember. What is Spider-Man Battle for New York? Is that a video game or something? Let me know in the comments down below.
Troubled? Gee, you think?
Of course. Yes. Come on, man. At least they put at least they included Spectacular Spider-Man's Norman Osborn in this video, unlike the last video we checked out with Harry Osborn, where sadly Behemoth89 didn't include the voice actor for Harry Osborn in the Spectacular Spider-Man show on either of his 2 Harry Osborn videos. I don't know why he didn't, but that's okay. So at least we got him in this one, because even this was good, too. I mean, even the Green Goblin in Spectacular Spider-Man was good. I mean, this is my favorite Spider-Man animated show anyway, so obviously anything from the Spectacular Spider-Man show, double thumbs up. I just love that show. And Green Goblin was definitely good in here, too. This Norman Osborn and this Green Goblin in this show was just as phenomenal as William Dafoe. Maybe not, I don't know, maybe almost just as good as William Dafoe. I mean, they kind of really just truly defied his character in this series as well. I mean, you need to watch the series or see episodes where the Green Goblin was around. I don't know. Or maybe just watch the whole series, period. Just watch the entire series. That's all I can maybe just say. But absolutely. I mean, Spectacular Spider-Man show, to me, is the best Spider-Man animated show ever. In my personal opinion. Maybe some of y'all may have different opinions, but that's the best one for me right there. Never gets old. Love Norman Osborn, Green Goblin's character in this series. Just great. So definitely double thumbs up to Alan Richins, or I don't know how you say his last name, sorry, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Enough. You're parked in a no-whining zone.
This never gets old.
Peter's not the reason you failed.
I really hope this show never gets old, even in very, very future, like in way later times, like when I turn 40 or something. I hope this still never gets old.
Life's pretty simple.
Spectacular Spider-Man show is just great.
Do what you have to do.
Literally, you gotta watch this show if you haven't yet. It's fantastic.
It seems you could use some friends, Peter. That'd be cool. And perhaps you'll be a friend to my Harry. Help keep his mind on his studies. I wish you would stop micromanaging my life.
That's really good. Yeah. Alright, Steven Weber. That's how you say his last name.
Spider-Man.
I think he was in a previous voice comparison before. I can't remember. I can't remember if Steven was in one of my other voice comparison videos I've done. I can't remember. I feel like I want to say yes, but I'm not sure. But still, that's really good too, though. That voice is really good. So far, everybody seems to be nailing the role of Norman Osborn so far. I'm happy for it.
Put it all behind you, Harry.
Josh Keaton? What? Whoa. Are you serious right now? Josh Keaton? Jeez. Wow. And this was in the later Spider-Man show too. This was in the 2017 Marvel Spider-Man show, the one that a lot of people don't really talk about, that one, but it's the same show that had that episode called Maximum Venom, where like the Avengers and stuff were venomized. But wow, Josh Keaton was Norman Osborn at one point. Man, it's already crazy enough he was Harry Osborn at one point, but then he got to be Norman Osborn. Man, Josh Keaton's got quite some roles I didn't know he had. I mean, Josh Keaton will always be Spider-Man Peter Parker, especially when it just came to the Spectacular Spider-Man show. He's always going to be my favorite voice for Spider-Man, for animated and video game-wise and stuff. But even when he was Harry Osborn in the last video was pretty good, too. I did talk a little bit about when he was Harry Osborn in the last video we checked out with Harry Osborn voice comparison. Even as Harry Osborn, he's pretty good, too. But man, I literally had no idea he even did Norman Osborn. This one's shocking a bit. I actually was not even paying attention to the thumbnail of the video either, seeing that he was on there, so I bet he was probably in that thumbnail, but I just wasn't paying attention because I just was busy talking to you guys about what I had to say about Norman Osborn. But anyway, I need a drink of water. I'm kind of starting to talk a lot. Hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So sometimes when I even talk so much, sometimes my mouth starts getting dry because I talk for a long time. I get some water, but I'm good. But man, Josh Keaton, man. So much about this man, I still don't even know about him. I just only remember him as Peter Parker and Spider-Man from the Spectacular Spider-Man show. But there's a few other roles I can probably remember that he's done. I can remember, like, only a select few, but not a whole lot. Man, alright. Him as Norman Osborn. Let's see how this one is.
Ginny, walk with me, Harry. Son, the Osborn name will always be associated with genius. Take today, for example. When the smartest school around no longer wanted you, I created an even smarter school.
Okay, sure, that's not too bad. I can almost picture that as being a lower Harry Osborn voice. I can almost picture that was maybe to be Harry Osborn when he grew older, but that's not too bad for a Norman voice. Like I said, maybe not as good as the other guys, but I'll work with that, sure. Plus, I like Josh Keaton anyway. Like I said, he's my favorite Spider-Man, so gotta give him respect.
And if I have to take action to ensure that your research from Horizon isn't lost.
Man, alright. Kudos to Josh Keaton, man.
My experiments from Horizon.
Peter
Parker.
Oh
How
yeah,
the hell are you? Speak of the
jeez, I
devil.
keep almost forgetting about that. I literally kept forgetting about that. It's just because I haven't played the game. It's because I don't have a PlayStation 4 or 5 to play these games. That's why. But yeah, I forgot. We were just talking about that in the last video with Harry Osborn, where there was that secret credit end scene where Harry Osborn was in a chamber or whatever, like alluding for the next game, Spider-Man 2, and Norman was in the end of the end credit scene as well as also having to be rescued in one of the missions in the game as well, where I think like Dr. Octopus steals him. I think he even kidnaps him, whatever, and then Spider-Man's on the verge of dying and he has to be rushed to the hospital. So yeah, kind of literally forgot Norman Osborn's in here. I wonder if he's in Spider-Man. No, he's got to be in Spider-Man 2. Come on, I mean, if Harry Osborn's in Spider-Man 2, then he's got to be in there too. I wonder if the Green Goblin's in there. I wonder if he finally becomes the Green Goblin in Spider-Man 2 or not. I have no idea. But yeah, literally, I don't know why. I really need to start remembering things coming from this video game. Like, I need to start remembering because, I really need to start watching somebody play this. Like, I still haven't watched anybody play the whole game of Spider-Man 1 yet. Neither have I seen anybody play the whole game of Spider-Man Miles Morales, but I really need to start checking out somebody playing the game because I'm really trying to avoid seeing anything from Marvel Spider-Man 2 until I see somebody play the first Spider-Man game as well as the Miles Morales ones, because those are the it's like if you were to watch movies and you want to watch them in the correct order to understand the story and stuff, just like the MCU and stuff like that. So hopefully I'll get to it someday. Like I said, I was going to plan on checking out Jacksepticeye play the game, the first Marvel Spider-Man game, and I don't know, maybe if he played Spider-Man's Miles Morales or if somebody else has, but I'll check somebody else out playing that game, and then whenever I find out if any of my YouTubers that I subscribe to play the second one, I'll probably get to that. Because I'm pretty sure one of the YouTubers I subscribe to will definitely play Spider-Man 2. Like, come on, man. You know they're going to. Well, let's just go ahead and take a listen. I haven't listened to this yet. I don't hear a lot of voice lines from this game either, so I gotta listen.
Each other? It's Mr.
Excuse me, I had to sneeze.
It's Norman. Norman! We should have confiscated this equipment long ago. But thank you for your great service to our country.
Alrighty, thumbs up.
These folks will escort.
Everybody did a good job. I'm not gonna lie to you. Everybody actually got a thumbs up in here. This is the last one. Everyone got a thumbs up. Man, this one actually did not disappoint. Literally everyone actually got a thumbs up in this video, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't give a maybes or a thumbs down to anyone. Every guy that appeared in this Norman Osborn voice comparison video actually did good. They all got my thumbs up. Some of them got double thumbs up because they're my personal favorites. But everybody got thumbs up. No thumbs down, no maybes. This is actually a good one. Guess clearly these guys really know how to be a good Norman Osborn. But hey, at least they don't disappoint, right? It's not every day there's a voice comparison video where we don't give maybes or thumbs downs to anyone, you know what I mean? I mean, I've only had like videos before where I've given like mostly thumbs up or even double thumbs up, but then sometimes maybes and some that never get a thumbs down, but it's very rare that I ever give everyone a thumbs up, so I'm impressed with this one. Everyone did a good job, but obviously, out of all these voices here, when it comes down to it, obviously I gotta start with live action wise. Come on, it's William Dafoe. I mean, there's nobody else. William Dafoe is literally the only live-action Norman Osborn Green Goblin. Well, not the only live-action Green Goblin, but the only live-action Norman Osborn for that matter. So, obviously, live-action-wise, always going to hands down go to William Dafoe no matter what. So, William Dafoe takes the live-action spot. And then for animated and video game-wise, let me take a look back and see, because I just want to make sure so I don't accidentally miss somebody. I just don't want to accidentally miss anybody, so let me take a look back. Maybe Neil Ross was in Spider-Man, the animated series, 1994, because they didn't include the 1994 animated Spider-Man series, Norman Osborn. Maybe this was him as Norman as well. Maybe he was also Norman in that. Was he? Yeah, you know what? I think maybe Neil Ross was Norman Osborn in Spider-Man, the animated series, 1994, because I think I remember when I looked through the cast credits, when I rented DVDs from the library that included Green Goblin episodes from the show, I think they did say Green Goblin / Norman Osborn. So yeah, I think Neil Ross maybe was Norman Osborn as well from the 1994 Spider-Man anime series. I'm actually going to maybe look that up real quick. I'm probably going to actually maybe look that up. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, it took me some time for me to get this done, but I did get it. So yes, Neil Ross did also voice Norman Osborn in Spider-Man, the animated series 1994 series. So with that, now I gotta definitely give him a double thumbs up now. I gave him just a thumbs up from the beginning because I wasn't sure if this was the same man, because for some reason sometimes when Behemoth89 makes these videos, he doesn't include like more than one role. Like if a voice actor voiced the same character in another like incarnation of a series and stuff, for some reason he doesn't include it more than once. But he really needs to. I mean, sometimes he has, but then there was other times he didn't. But he needs to. But yes, now that I know that Neil Ross was the voice of Norman Osborn in 1994 Spider-Man animated series, definite double thumbs up now. So he's one of my favorites now. Now that I know that. So like I said, live action wise, Norman Osborn is William Dafoe. For the animated voices, it's definitely Neil Ross. I guess you can count William Dafoe since he voiced him in the video game as well, but I really pay him more respect from the movie, but you can count William Dafoe as well if you want to. But I mean, he would have been up there anyway because I'm going to count my total favorites anyway. So for animated and video game and stuff wise, it's Neil Ross, Alan Ratchins, however you say his name from the Spectacular Spider-Man show. I think that's just about it. Yeah, I think that's just about it. Yeah, those are my only favorites so far. So in total, it's 3. I will give honorable mentions to Mark Rolston from the Marvel Spider-Man video game. I will also pay an honorable mention to Josh Keaton and as well as Steven Weber. I'll put them in my honorable mentions because those 3 actually did a pretty good job as well. Like everybody in this video actually did a good job, believe it or not. So I got to put Josh Keaton, and what's his name again? Mark Rolston as my honorable mention favorites. Like maybe not favorites, but as an honorable mentions because those 3 were pretty good too. But my 3 personal favorites, as I said, are William Dafoe, Neil Ross, and Alan Retchins, or however you say his name. Those are my 3 personal favorites. But however, if I do start playing the video game, or if I do start checking out YouTubers play or one of the YouTubers or anybody playing the first Spider-Man video game, then maybe my opinion for Mark might change. Maybe he might end up becoming my 4th favorite for Norman Osborn. He might. Who knows? Because, like I said, I might, because the video games are really good, from what I heard. I just haven't seen the whole story yet or people playing it, but I really need to, though. But everybody really loves those video games, so probably once I see somebody play the game, or maybe even if I play it myself, well, I mean, that's probably not going to happen for a very long time, but once I see somebody play it, maybe I might add Mark to my favorites. But for now, it's just William Dafoe, Alan Ratchins, and Neil Ross. Those are just my only ones for now. For right now. But like I said, I did give honorable mentions, so at least I paid respect, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's all of my favorites, so now it's time for y'all to decide, ladies and gentlemen, who are your favorites for Norman Osborn? Leave a comment down below and start a conversation, and don't forget to share it with all your friends so you can get their opinions as well. Mine picks for Norman Osborn are in. Who are your picks? So that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. It's like 8:08. It's not super late, so thankfully I didn't do this video too late this time around. But I am going to go ahead and wrap it up. I'm going to take a shower, and I might hit it for the day. Plus, I was actually working on something earlier as well, like about an hour ago. I was working on the script for episode 3 of me and my best friend Alex's YouTube series, We Will Meet the Question Girls, because while episode 2 is currently being worked on right now, I decided to go ahead and start, him and I have decided to go ahead and start working on the script for episode 3. I'm mostly in charge of scripting, so I'm already working on the script for episode 3 because in case if the movie takes place next month or not, me and Alex want to try to attempt to film for episode 3 before the movie takes place. So that's why I'm working on it right now. So I'm going to wrap it up. As I said, I'm going to take a shower, probably might work on the script a little bit more, and that'll just be it. And like I said, stay tuned for whenever I do finally decide to play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate World of Light Adventure Mode. I am still going to do it, I just don't know when I'll get started. But just be ready, alright? So be ready for the gameplay series of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate World of Light Adventure Mode replay whenever that comes up. Because, as I said, I'm replaying it because I did already play it back in 2020 during the pandemic, but I didn't complete the whole game. I was cheating by playing it off of YouTube and stuff like that. So I'm going to go through it 100%. Not playing it off YouTube, anything like that. I should hopefully be able to know how to get through everything as well, because some of the stuff I had a hard time figuring out. I had to search up YouTube videos, but I should be able to guarantee do it this time. So that's all I got left to say, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out of here. I hope y'all have a good one. I'll see you next time in the next video. Peace. That'll be it for today, guys. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Dislike it, give it a thumbs down. Join me next time in the next video. To all you boys, men, and guys out there, fist bumps to all of you. To all the girls, ladies, and women out there, kisses to all of you. But until then, this is Joe Flash signing off. And have a good day.